Oh, hey, what's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the mother-loving geek nation? You're currently tuning into the CultPop podcast, episode 45, a show where we talk about movies and comics and smoking weed out of soda cans in your dorm room.
Oh, yeah.
And all the other things that scratch your nerdy itch. We're coming to you live from the Yunk Junk HQ, a bomb-ass podcasting space here in Manayunk, PA. I'm Johnny Destructo. I have a comic shop. You should go to it. It's called Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex. With me this week is... Hey, Dylan!
Not as with us.
Yes.
Like.
That's it. That's all I got. Brian.
What's up?
Hi.
Cool.
Okay.
And Len, the Bat
Yo, what's
Tribble.
up? Holla at your boy. This is Len, aka the Bat Tribble.
And then also in the booth is our trusty producer, Dylan, the Great.
It's me again.
You did it.
Hey, that was the first time.
Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, ring the little bell notification so you know when we're doing this nonsense. You can email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com, just like our good friend and previous host, Noel.
No? He
Yeah.
sent us an email?
He did.
Oh, that is so sweet of him.
Yeah.
Is it about our topic this
It
evening?
is about the
Is that
topic.
right? Yeah.
He has been sick. He was on vacation, living it up.
Yeah.
And going to like warehouse size comic book stores and sending us pictures and being like, I'm better than you. Look at me. And then now he's
I
sick.
didn't care
So
for
he's
that.
reaping. He's reaping what he has sown. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
love you. We hope you feel better, Noel. I think he's at the doctor's right now. So Robert Monroe Jr. is in the chat saying, what's up, Cult Poppers? Well, Robert, we're about to tell you what's up. Alejandro Martinez. Oh, Alex Martinez. Cool Ghost shirt. Thank you. This is a band called Ghost.
Oh,
But it
the
is
nightmare has
it's a-
only just begun, they
it's a
say.
play on the Halloween 2 poster.
Exactly. Oh, interesting.
Any whomst. Hey, Alex. All right. So should I read his email now, or should
No, I think
when
you
we're
should.
talking about the things?
That's what I think.
I would think so.
Yeah.
All right.
That's probably when he meant for it to be read.
I would
Yeah,
imagine.
we'll
More of a
read it
missive.
when we're doing our main jam, or John. But first, we're gonna do the segment I lovingly call "What Have You Been Up To This Week?" Huh? And I'm gonna start off with, "Hey, Dylan, what you been up to this week, huh?"
I've been up to all sorts of stuff, podcast things, music things, living the life of a
Destitute artist.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Dylan, as we talked about the other week, I know you're interested in Futurama, and I wanted to give a little update. This is what Dylan's been up to this week.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we were a little we thought it started off a little shaky, right?
Uh-huh.
And the last few
Futurama.
episodes,
Yeah.
of this return, this
Yeah.
most recent season. And, I'm really been happy that the last couple of episodes there's been at least one that feels just like the old first reboot Futurama. And this last one was really good too. And I'm happy that they're back up there.
Oh,
I hope Dylan will be as well.
Dylan, are you?
I like some of them. I like some of them. I didn't watch the last one.
Okay.
I saw that the last one just came out. I
Yeah.
didn't see that one yet.
Okay.
I saw the one before that, and it was good.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
better. It was
Yeah.
better than it was stronger than how it started.
Yeah, it was like, this feels a little more like what I'm looking for.
Yeah. But overall, I'm not mad that there's another season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
taking
not
money
as-
out of
it's
your
just
pocket.
There
not-
are worse
exactly.
ways to spend your
Exactly.
time, I
Yes,
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'm a big rewatcher, so I probably would have been rewatching something I've already seen anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but to that end, don't you feel like once a show has ended, and actually has ended, it's been
Yeah.
going for a little bit,
Mhm.
right? And they probably have shot their shot. And especially a show like Futurama, which had multiple times to shoot its shot,
Yeah.
kind of just roll off. Like, I'm not going to hate anybody having a job.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're not really going to execute drastic changes, then what are you coming
Well,
back
does it need
for?
to be drastic changes, or would just more of what you enjoyed?
But the thing is, the more of what you enjoy, more often than not, is not quite as good as what
Yeah.
it was at its
But you can still
best.
enjoy it to a lesser extent, but it's still enjoyment. You know.
Yeah,
Now
it's
for
the
a
whole
show-
fade away versus burnout kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like go out in a big ball of flame, or just like slowly bleed out. Yeah.
Those are the two possibilities.
That's it. That's all you got.
But I would say that I think more if it's a show with like a continuing story that wraps up really well, and then you're like, do I really want to go back and open up the possibilities of that universe again? And what if it's not good? Whereas with something like Futurama, it's like, oh, another Futurama.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. I don't think any of them have been as good as the original episodes.
The heyday.
Yes.
How many seasons of the original show were there?
I think there were 4 or 5 actually.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah,
I thought
sounds
there were
about right.
And then they did the 4 movies, and which I think were about the same quality as the rest of most of the rest of it, where it's still really good. It's not as brilliant, but I like it. You know,
Because I know with The Simpsons, there is a definite drop off. What is
Yes.
it? 8 seasons, and then all of a sudden, everyone went, "What just happened?"
yeah. When they went to Futurama, a lot of the people, yeah.
But to be fair, with the Simpsons, like for a lot of people, the heyday was like maybe the first 10 years, and then there was the drop. But then if you go back to it, it's still really good.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what I think, and I remember saying it at that time, even though I did stop watching it. It's still better than a lot of other stuff that's on TV.
Right.
It's just not the
Pinnacle.
absolute pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
That The Simpsons was, and so you're like, oh, it had so far to fall, and it did, but it's still good. It's and that's maybe one of the only shows that I would really question. Like, it was so brilliant. Should it have just been that?
I think so.
And
or
remain
is it
in that
at
place.
least time to kind of like start the fade? I mean,
Who knows?
I wonder who's watching it. I don't know a single person
No, I don't
who
either.
watches The Simpsons.
There probably are people. And also, being as good as it was, it is kind of cool that it has this place in history.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was...
Sure. Yeah, it's most
that
of history
was
at this
enough
point.
to be... I think history only started like 2 years before that aired. Yeah.
So it's like most of it.
It's most of it.
And the thing is right now, the people that probably are watching The Simpsons
Hmm.
are probably watching it streaming. They're not tuning in on Sunday
On
night.
Fox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys out there in TV land? Are you guys, or I guess YouTube land? Are you guys watching The Simpsons at all? Chime in. I want to know who's watching it. Just raise your hand. You have to
And
say if
how
it's good
you're
or bad.
watching it.
Yeah.
Just
Raise your
who's,
hand.
Who's tuning into The Simpsons?
Let us know if you
we
raise your
won't
hand.
know.
Yeah, let us know if
Yeah.
you raised your hand. Yeah. Type out, I have raised my hand. So that's what
Dylan's
been up to this week. Len, what you been up to this week, huh?
Well, talk about going in the Wayback Machine. I'm going to go even wayer back.
Wow.
Today, for absolutely no reason at all except to just have something silly on while I was working, I turned on Prime.
Optimus.
Yeah.
No.
Do you like rub them a little and
Yeah, it's
down
like-
there? You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
You need some more oil, JD.
Not watching The Simpsons anymore, says someone on Twitch whose name I can't read. Oh, DL. DL. Yeah, me neither, DL.
So I turned on Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Have you ever seen that before?
Oh yeah, I've seen it
that's-
multiple times.
I've
multiple
never
times.
seen it.
I know,
Now,
me
for
either.
people who don't, probably most of our audience don't know who Frankenstein or Abbott and Costello are. Abbott and Costello, listen to Dylan.
Okay, if you think The Simpsons,
Yeah. But live action.
but live action, and there's only two of them, and
so
they're
it's
not yellow.
related.
They're not
The
a family.
it
stories-
wasn't on Fox.
The stories are completely different.
They didn't
and
have a
the humor
dog.
is different, and everything they say is unrelated.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're 50 years older than the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They might say the name Simpson at one point.
honestly, they don't.
I
don't
don't
think.
know.
I don't think the family Simpson had been born yet.
Interesting.
Abbott and Costello were a comedy team from the 40s, and they had a hit of movies in that time where basically Abbott and Costello go to Mars, Abbott and Costello go out west, yada yada yada. And they did, and one of their more famous movies was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is where they basically run up against all of the Universal monsters.
Oh.
So they
Not just
meet,
Frankenstein.
They meet
Whoa.
Frankenstein, but they meet Dracula. And the Wolfman is in there.
That's
as
true.
well.
Movies don't have to have everything that happens in them in the title.
Right, yeah.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Have to bring everything up.
Right. And famously in this while Boris Karloff, who famously does Frankenstein in the 30s movie, he is not Frankenstein in this. Bela Lugosi, who was Dracula,
Yeah.
and Lon Chaney Jr., who was the Wolfman, they are both reprising their roles in this movie.
That's cool.
Oh, I
They
thought you
got
were going to
the
say he
actual.
played Frankenstein.
Oh no,
That's where I thought it was going.
No.
That's really cool.
That is dope.
So it makes for like a really fun, nostalgia trip for people because this comes out like in the late 40s. It's certainly past like even the real true heyday of the Universal monsters, right?
So it's like almost like a reboot. Like we're in a cycle now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's for its time, it was a great, stupid, fun movie. Everybody loved it. Like I said, it's the most popular of the Abbott and Costello movies. Put the Universal monsters back on the map. And in watching it, I enjoyed it for what it was. Right? It's not as funny anymore, but it's cool. But it got me thinking because Universal has been trying ad nauseum to build a universe out of their Universal monsters.
Which I wish they would succeed because that sounds fun to me.
Well, see,
It just hasn't.
some of their properties have worked, and most of them haven't. Like the Mummy with Tom Cruise.
I heard it was bad. I haven't seen it.
I started it. I didn't get 10 minutes into it.
Oh.
It didn't work.
That's not good.
However, and I can't remember if it actually is called The Invisible Man or The Invisible Woman.
Invisible Man.
Invisible Man. That movie actually was pretty dope.
That was good. I like that.
That was really good.
With
Girlfriend from the
Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale.
She's amazing. I love her. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
You go on.
Moss.
Keep going.
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Moss.
Shue.
Elizabeth Moss. No, it's Moss.
No, she's in other things.
Elizabeth
And not
Moss.
Abbott and Costello things.
Elizabeth Moss, one of the best actors out there working.
Yes.
But that is a great movie, right? So the mitigating returns on that. So it got me to thinking that perhaps the way to do this is to lean on the Abbott and Costello meet the Frankenstein
Vibes.
mold and find a comedian or comedy team to star in a series of movies meeting each of these monsters
Right.
That's interesting.
one by one to kind of then use that as a bridge to
Maybe meet different comedians in different movies, and then they also.
yeah,
when you
but,
do
then,
a
but
movie-
then what do you have, like an Avengers of a comedians and the ultimate
Well, it doesn't have to
meetup
be.
one?
Maybe it's not 5 different comedians, but like 2 or 3 that aren't each in every movie. And yes, then they form. Presumably the monsters would meet each other at some time, right? In some movie.
The one the heads that came to my mind, and they're probably too old now, would have been Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
That would have been great.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah, I could picture
interesting.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
The other one I was thinking of, Richard Pryor and
Oh,
Gene
Gene
Wilder?
Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
they would
but
have been.
no.
You don't think so?
Why?
No.
What?
No.
That is exactly up their alley.
No.
Or back then.
Well, yes, back
Yeah.
then.
That is-
Yeah.
I'm talking
I
about
don't
now.
mean. Oh, I thought you just meant.
Well, no.
He's proposing
I'm
this.
proposing this.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So you can't propose it
Yeah.
with them.
Are you listening, Universal? Because Len is calling you out.
I'm trying to think of. Are there actual comedy duos right now? There's like Seth Rogen and
And whom?
Oh, what's his name?
I'm thinking of his writing partner. You're right. He doesn't have a.
But the actor guy.
Oh yes, the actor guy.
Yeah, that one that
The
acts
good-looking
in
guy.
things.
The guy who got it, who they couldn't do it with. Now that I think about it, got in trouble.
Oh,
Who
James
went to
Franco.
school-
Oh,
Yeah.
Franco.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Right.
See, that would have been interesting.
He would have been good. But I'm thinking you can't do Kevin Hart in The Rock because The Rock is too big. The Rock would just beat up every fucking monster.
Yeah.
They're
But-
supernatural.
True. But Kevin Hart has actually done a couple of movies with Ice Cube.
Oh.
And Kevin Hart and Ice Cube might work.
He did have the only good part in that Deep Blue Sea movie, as I recall.
He did.
Yes.
He's done other things.
I know.
Perhaps you haven't seen them.
I have not. I'm aware of him and his career flourishing, but I've not seen.
Jay and Silent Bob.
He
Do
is
we
into that.
really want to see?
No, I don't. I'm just trying
Kevin
to think
Smith.
of duos. No, I don't. No.
No.
Those guys, I stopped finding
Okay.
those guys funny in the 90s, I think.
What about Ben Schwartz and some other guy?
And some other
Yeah,
guy.
Vince Schwartz and some
see.
other
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
That could
Maybe
work.
Thomas Middleditch. I have
Oh.
yet to see their improv thing,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
Dude.
Nick Kroll
yeah.
and John Mulaney.
Okay.
Oh.
The voices from
Dylan's doing the
Dylan's into
the
it.
fingers.
Yeah.
the voices from
The
what's
puberty
the-
show.
yeah, what's that? What's the cart? I can't think of the name.
Cartoon puberty. Big mouth.
Big Mouth.
Yeah. You know what? You know what could also be funny? Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Oh, I love Tina Fey.
Me too. And Amy Poehler. You obviously don't.
That could work.
Ah.
I see Nick Kroll and I'm really liking the Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, or
Okay.
We'll get him on the
They
phone.
could all four
Tiffany
be in it.
Haddish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tiffany Haddish.
Well, you could put Tiffany Haddish with anybody, honestly.
Did you watch the after party?
I did.
Yeah, that's
That was
fun,
a good-
right?
That's
Yeah.
fun. That's a fun joint. I haven't seen the second season though.
Not as fun since it's kind of just doing the premise again,
Mm-hmm.
but still well worth it. Still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan and Chris Rock.
Sure.
You just want to go back as far as possible.
How about
Yeah.
Abbott and Costello?
Whoa! Meet Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
with
Jason
that, let's
Voorhees.
move on.
Yeah.
Oh wait, we introduced Abbott and Costello, but a lot of people might know them from Who's on First.
Oh
Right.
yes,
Oh,
well,
that-
So they
that's
did
the
that's
Who's
other.
on First.
That's probably the other thing.
Yeah.
The thing they're most famous for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Is
it's
that
the
bit.
Yeah,
And
that
what
bit.
was that movie? Supporting your point, Wolfman's Got Nards. What was that movie?
That was
Monster Squad.
Monster Squad.
Yeah, so that was like a fun group of monsters movie.
That was basically the Universal Monsters meets the Goonies.
Monster Squad? Yeah.
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 And if you don't know
Fun movie.
a lot of the Universal Monsters, ladies and gentlemen, they're basically the building blocks of Adam Sandler's Hotel Transylvania movies.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what they're
yeah.
most famous for.
Yeah,
Is Adam
the
Sandler's.
seminal
Yeah.
Hotel Transylvania movies
Yeah,
by
yeah.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
1 through 3.
Earning two sequels. Yes.
Do you have something you actually did this week?
Yeah, I
or-
do. I do.
Jesus Christ.
So
Go
I
ahead.
watched.
Instead of just stalk Dylan.
Well, I mean that's only. So anyway, what I did was stalk Dylan.
Yeah.
Let me
What
give
I've
you
been
a
up to
detailed
this week
account
was Dylan.
of what Dylan was up to.
Yeah.
Now he disappointed me a little bit. I didn't think he had the strength that he had in the previous weeks. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I watched.
We watched TV together, but he
Yeah.
watches through my window.
Yeah.
True. So together is in quotes, but yeah, we like it. So
Also, we as in quotes.
yeah.
Well, they call
Exactly.
it a double date because his lady is with him outside
yeah.
the window
Yeah.
as Dylan sits in there with his girlfriend.
Yeah. So what I actually did was watch Crabopolis, the
Okay, the new what's his name?
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon show.
And, no, I can't remember his first name. Matt Ayoade,
Yeah.
the British comedian
Mm-hmm.
who was in, I think, the IT Crowd.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Matt Berry, who I believe was also in the IT
Oh,
Crowd, but I know
he
from
is.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
awesome.
You know the story behind him saying that.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
I tell
phenomenal.
everyone because I did a sticker
Yeah.
of him because one of the quotes that he has is "I became a vampire to suck blood and fuck forever."
Yes.
And so I sell people the sticker, and we always talk about it. And I'm
Bat.
like, you know the story behind Bat? And
Yeah.
they're like, no. And
That's a
I
cool
tell them
story.
the story
I'll
about
tell you
Bat.
who we haven't told is anyone listening.
Hey, what's the story behind Bat?
Well, so as a help for the special effects team, when he as a vampire would turn into a bat, Matt Berry would say, "Bat."
Yeah.
And they thought it was so funny that they just left it in.
Yeah.
And he says bat when he turns into a bat, Laszlo Ravenscroft.
So good.
So anyway, he plays a very similar character to that in this show. Crapopolis is about, it's set in ancient times. They're sort of Greek looking. The Greek, at least Athena and Mercury are there.
It's animated. And
It's animated, yeah. And Matt Ayoade plays the king. I believe I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm not certain though.
Matt Ayoade, yeah.
Ayoade. Oh, so he plays the king, who is
Tyrannus?
Yeah. He's trying to get these new ideas of civilization going, like, oh, we could trade with each other instead of killing each other, and like, let's get a written language going, you know, that kind of thing. And it's tough going for them,
course.
right? So he's trying to get that going. And his mom, played by Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso, Rebecca, is the goddess Deliria. And his dad, played by Matt Berry, is this like sort of chimera, very sexual monster.
Oh.
And he's got a sister who is like this big like gigantic, powerful fighter who isn't on board with the no killing thing.
Of course.
And this like fish person brother who is this like tinkerer, right? So he invents stuff, like he does forensics for the first time.
Oh,
He's like, I'm going to invent forensics because this guy was killed. And, so there's a lot of that kind of joke. Like,
Is it good?
I would say it's good.
How many have you watched?
Two.
Two
the
episodes.
two that are available.
Oh, they just dropped.
It just
Oh,
dropped.
word. Nice.
So yeah, it's fun. I could see it becoming something that's really funny. And, comedy is often, not always, but the first couple of episodes take a little bit to get going. And then even once they get going, you go back and watch the first ones and it's like, oh yeah, now that I know the characters, this is fine.
Where's this?
Yeah, it's a bit on the nose sometimes. Sometimes very obviously intentionally. But yeah, it's like a decent way to
pass
watch
the
some
time,
TV.
pass a half hour.
Yeah.
So streaming on Hulu.
Yes.
2 episodes. Go check them out and report back to us. Let us know what you think, because I don't care what he has to say about it.
You seemed to, but
That's the job. I've been up to something. I watched a new movie also on Hulu called No One Can Save You. And
I heard about this one.
I also had heard about it, and I tried not to hear too much about it. And I basically just went into it blind, except for knowing there's a gimmick that I won't spoil.
Okay.
There's a gimmick. And it's not really a spoiler to say what's on the poster, which is it's an alien invasion. It's a home invasion by way of aliens.
Oh.
Bryn finds solace within the walls of the home where she grew up until she's awakened one night by strange noises from unearthly intruders. And it's starring Caitlin Dever, who was in... Did you guys ever see Booksmart?
Yes.
Yeah, she was one of the 2 main girls in Booksmart.
Okay.
Yeah, the one who wasn't in What We Do in the Shadows.
who was the one who was in What We Do in the Shadows?
She wasn't in it
Who was in it? Why do you bring that up?
because we were just talking about What You Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
And one of these 2 girls was in. She was like the little. The woman in that show had made her into a vampire.
She was in.
That's what I said.
I thought.
Anyway, the movie is interesting.
That's fun. She's a fun character.
There is a it definitely relies on a gimmick, which some people actually didn't really realize was happening.
Oh.
I've talked to other folks and they were like, "Oh yeah,
Oh, really?
That was the
That's
thing.
a very subtle.
Oh.
That's like hard to be spoiled gimmick.
And I'm glad. I wish. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't spoiled for me because I spent the whole movie
Knowing it.
and sort of like engaging with the idea of it and like, what are we going to do and how are we going to keep this gimmick going and blah blah blah. And I think that the gimmick thing works overall, but it fails in at least one major scene. And that sort of ruined the experience a little bit for me. But other than that one little caveat, I think the whole movie is a lot of fun and
Is it a drama?
interesting.
Yeah, is this like
It's a
horror,
drama.
sci-fi?
It's a sci-fi drama.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah,
it's
it's not a
it's not a
comedy.
horror movie.
No, I wouldn't say it's a horror movie.
Okay.
No.
So more a thriller.
It's a sci-fi thriller.
And the aliens break into the extraterrestrials, break
Yes.
into this woman's house.
Yes.
What I want to know is, do they wear ski masks
No.
doing the home invasion?
No.
That's not spoiling anything to say.
No.
Okay.
No.
I wanted them to.
But they're very cool alien designs. Like when you first see it, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's an alien. But throughout the rest of the movie, you start to see different versions of the aliens.
What?
And I was like, oh,
They
that's
have
cool.
they
That's
get
cool.
puberty during the home invasion.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
It's a very long home invasion. Yeah.
They just sit around on the couch for a while.
Textus is in the chat saying, "What's up?"
Cool.
Did I
not much.
pronounce that correctly? Let me know. So that's what we all been up to this week. So we thought last week we did summer closeout, like a summer
Yeah, the
wrap
roundup.
up, John
Yeah.
roundup,
We did.
and we thought, what if we did a back to school special?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're gonna do, the back to school special.
Yes, a month into back to
Yeah.
school.
Well, just
Yeah.
like,
It's been so long since
college
I've been in
kid,
school.
We're handing it in late.
Yeah,
And we're
that's
hoping
right.
that we get
Yeah.
credit from you guys.
Yeah. So we thought, Dylan, we're gonna send Dylan off to school. Our little baby boy Dylan. He's all grown up. He grows up and he grows up and he grows up.
Dylan, you don't have a college degree and you're running this show?
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
It's American Dream. So we
How
made
podcast
some
of you.
picks. We made some picks personally,
yeah.
and we were going to jam Dylan's school bag with these picks so that we can send him off to, I don't know, preschool?
Comic college.
I'm not sure.
Comic
college.
But we're giving
well
him, so
armed.
why are we
Well,
giving
not
him
armed.
Armed.
What are we giving him?
Go ahead. What are we giving him?
Tell them. You're the host.
What's
anyway,
the question? We're
gonna
giving
be
him
giving
comic books that will help him learn something.
We think that
about
these
things.
would be good for you or whomever you choose to give them to learn, either lessons or these comics are important in some way. They will help you in your journey.
Yeah, they helped us,
becoming a man.
and we're trying to impart these onto baby Dylan
Yeah.
so that he learns a thing or two while he's making bongs out of Coke cans. Right?
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
You're the host. You go first.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I'll go first.
Here it is.
I'm the host.
We're following your lead.
So, all right. So, actually, I found this book because we did it for book club through my comic shop.
Where's your comic shop?
Well, I'll tell you, it's 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA 19127. It's called Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex. It's a rad-ass shop that caters to rad-ass folks like you. And we do a book club there. And we always do a vote, very democratic there. And the one we voted for is called It's Lonely at the Centra of the Earth,
The metric spelling.
an auto-bio-graphic-novel period by Zoe Thorogood. And I never heard of it. All I knew about it was like, oh, that's a neat cover. I like that cover. Oh, this book is not supposed to exist. I like this. And it wasn't really a recommendation. I got it in the shop and I was like, hey guys, we'll put this in the poll. You guys want to vote for it? And we voted. And I got about, 4 pages in. And I ran over to my wife to tell her how excited I was, but she was with a customer. So then I just sort of like slinked back to my seat and I read a couple more pages and then I was like, oh my God. And I got up and I ran to Sushan to go tell her. And she was with another customer. So I was like, okay, never mind. I'm going to go back. And then about halfway through the book, a certain thing happens and I was like, fuck it. And I got up and I ran out and I was like, I interrupted. I was like, this is the best graphic novel I've read in years.
Oh.
And I'm only halfway through it. This is Zoe Thorogood's autobiographic novel, as it says, but it is not a feel-good story. It starts off with, I've been considering stabbing myself in the neck with a sharp knife. So a trigger warning for suicidal ideation, but this is her being so down and feeling so lost and feeling like the only way she knows how to communicate with other people, or the best way she knows how to communicate with other people, is through graphic art. So she decided to take 6 months and document her life in comic book form in order to maybe help her do some self-discovering, find out who she is, maybe quote unquote fix herself. So it is a very deep dive into her emotions, her psyche, and it changes art styles, not every page, but often enough.
Okay.
That I didn't know when I was turning the page what sort of art style or format or layout I was going to get. And I found that to be so exciting and fresh. For someone, I am 45 years old and I've been reading comics for 35 of those years, if not more. And I sort of know what I'm going to get when I open up a book, for the most part. And this kept me guessing the whole time. And I can't say enough nice things about it. There are, I immediately go to Goodreads after reading a new book that I'm excited about, just to see what the reviews are and everything. And overall, very positive reviews. But there are some people who found it to be, is it navel-gazy?
Yeah.
Sort of self... it's a little too self-centered for them and a little bit too overly dramatic. But I think those may be people who don't deal with suicidal ideation and depression. And this spoke to me a lot. So I highly recommend this. What? You're inhaling like you want to say something. Go ahead.
Well, my question is, that sounds like a wonderful book
Why am I giving it to Dylan?
to take to college.
Because I feel like a lot of people, when they go to college, feel alone and they don't know how to reach out to other people. And maybe reading this would make them feel a little less alone and a little less scared to know that other people go through similar things, even though this isn't a college-specific book.
Of course.
I think a lot of the themes in here, and it's also about a relationship that she has with someone over the internet and flies to America. She lives overseas in the UK, and she flies overseas to meet this other artist that she met online, and there's some lessons in there too. So yeah, does that explain? Is that?
I mean,
Did I do
that's your reason.
That's my reason. Yeah.
That's a good reason.
So that's mine. Have you guys heard of, read it? Have you done?
I've heard of it from your comic shop at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. There's a zip code too, and it's called Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex. And if you can't find it with that information, then
you don't deserve to
how
find
are you
it.
going to buy a comic?
It's like Brigadoon, though. It shifts.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah,
always
I
like
thought
that.
so. Yeah,
Bad for
yeah.
business, but I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was your question?
Len, did you ever hear of this book? Flip through it. You're an artist as well.
No, I have heard of this from you because you
Because I've been talking it up, man. I tell everybody
it up
about
to me
this
when I
book.
came to see you just the other day,
Yeah.
and like I said then, it sounds like a wonderful book. It sounds interesting. I don't know if I would purchase it because it sounds a little bit too
Dark.
Look, I don't mind dark comic books, but I don't actively look for dark comic books. But I applaud the accomplishment in doing it and the experiment of it all that Zoe took on, and I'm happy for your feel for it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would pick that out for Dylan to take to college, but I understand your reasoning.
Thank you.
So there you go.
What would you pick out for Dylan?
Well, one of the books that I would pick out for Dylan is a book that I just bought blind one day, looking for comics.
Is that why?
No, I don't. I don't.
The name Dylan's on the front cover.
No,
And he was like, "This would be great for a Dylan."
A guy whom I do not yet know.
Yeah.
This is called The Long Con, ladies and gentlemen. It's a heck of a fun ride, says Major Spoilers. Horror DNA says it hits on all the right marks. The world is over, but the con has just begun.
What?
Because
Whoa.
what this is, have you heard of The Long Con?
No.
The Long Con, because I think you would love this book too. It's by Dylan McGonis and Ben Coleman. It is basically about a group of friends that go to a comic book convention, and while they're at the comic book convention, the world ends.
That's awesome.
And everybody turns into like zombies.
Oh.
Of course.
And now they're stuck in the comic
The
book
Long
convention.
Con. What a good
That
name.
is
is-
really funny.
and-
Yeah, that's good.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, what I have here is volume 2, because I have to find volume 1 because I lent it to
Did you
someone,
lend-
and
I've done that so many times.
Oh, well, he'll be back for Christmas break.
he'll be back for
Yeah.
for Christmas
Yeah.
break. But if nothing else, this tells you that this is actually a successful book because
Yeah.
there's actually a second collection of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is funny. It's funny, but it's still like a lot of comic books that are about friendship, has a lot to say about friendship. It's a fun way to get introduced into the supernatural. The art is fantastic, but without being crazy gory. And
It looks like
without
an
being-
animated series.
Yeah, it looks like an animated
art.
television
Yeah,
series.
for sure.
But it's so like there's people that they're zombies, but they're in cosplay. I mean, it is ridiculous, man. But it is so much fun.
What I like about the cover here is Steve Gaynor, who I guess did Gone Home in Tacoma. I've never heard of those books. They asked him for a pull quote, and his pull quote that they put on the cover of the book is, "If you've ever daydreamed about how you and your con friends would survive the end times, have I got the book for you?" Which says nothing about if he liked the book.
True.
It's just,
Oh.
boy, if you ever wanted to read this story,
Here it is.
Yeah, I have one around here somewhere.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but no,
That looks fun.
It is an absolute fun
Now-
comic book.
Len, why would you give this to Dylan?
Because
What reason could you possibly have?
because I will tell you why I would give this to Dylan, because I think that when you are in college,
Yeah.
you are so stuck stuck with, especially the first year of college. You are dealing with just trying to find your senses on campus, trying to find your tribe, along with trying to deal with the schoolwork, depending on how many classes you've gone on, trying to stay on top of that you can easily fall into overload, right? So when it is time for you to just relax and chill, you just need a fun read, man.
Right.
You just need a fun read with some fun people. You know what I'm saying? And something that you probably, if you have found your tribe, you can pass along your tribe.
that's
and then
cool.
now it,
Nice.
Maybe
it
make
begins
some friends.
conversation.
Sure,
and
yeah.
you
Yeah.
make more friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I kind of wish your answer had been, well, I do know that Dylan has daydreamed about how him and his con friends would survive the end times. So I just thought maybe this would be the book for
I
him.
have the book for him.
So this is why this will go in Dylan's.
That's right. We gotta stuff the sack.
Dylan's
A
bag
good old stack stuffing.
from Uncle Lenny.
There we go.
Hey Brian, I see you
happening?
only brought one option.
Well, I didn't know that we were bringing two, and but don't worry. As always, I'm prepared to talk about something else, and you'll just have to get it later. I'll send it up in a care package, Dylan.
Aw, that's
with
nice.
with a little note to you.
Hey Dylan, if we were gonna send you a care package, what candy would you be like? Please put this in my
Home-baked
care
cookies,
package.
man.
You know what? Great question.
Thank you.
It
sucked.
as long as it's as long as it's chocolate, I'll be happy. But
Okay.
I like a chocolate and peanut combo. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
like Snickers.
Goobers?
Goobers? Yeah, I like some Goobers.
Noel
I haven't
calls
had
those
Goobers in a
garbage
while.
candy, and I
You
love
like
it.
Goobers?
Yeah.
Goobers, I love
Okay.
them.
I haven't had Goobers since I don't even
They sell them.
remember.
They sell them down the street at the CVS
Have it there.
Really?
for like
I'm
$1
there all
Probably
the time.
every CVS.
at every CVS. Yeah.
And what about those sticks that are chocolate with little chunks of peanut on the outside? You know, you don't see that very often, but it happens.
Oh, the ones that like the
Yeah.
people sell.
Yeah, people sell them.
They'll bring around like, oh, I'm raising money for somebody, and like it's a pretzel stick with like dipped in chocolate with stuff on them.
that's
No,
not
not at all. But
I mean, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about people that sell it in like a regular business,
what's
but
the candy?
often in like an artsy kind of candy way, where it's like a stick with some kind of cookie, like a tube of a cookie.
Oh, it's a cookie stick.
It's a cookie
That's
stick.
been dipped.
It's been dipped and then dipped again.
I don't know what those are called. Yeah, those are
A
good.
cookie stick that's been dipped and then dipped again.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
Anyway.
The cookie stick that twice dipped.
So homemade chocolate chip cookies is what you're saying.
I think some kind of cookie would be nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell the people about this.
Anyway,
Yeah, your artesian candy. We just talk about this.
here's something. I didn't say I was going to give that to him.
Well, we're not. You're not giving them your book either.
All right, here we go. So anyway, I brought an issue of Sandman, a particular issue of
It's all
Sandman,
Mylar
right?
cover. Can't
Oh,
even
yeah.
touch it.
So this sits in my on my magazine rack, and I didn't want to over time get too like wire dense in all the comics.
Oh, yeah.
So I really searched hard for a hard plastic thing that I could slide it into. So that is what I have done.
Like it's called a top loader. It's a Mylar top loader. If you ever want to Google it again and find another one instead
Nice.
of digging through the earth to find one.
Yeah. Well, either way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
So, Sandman is one of my all-time favorite series. I think it's acknowledged by a lot of people as one of the
One of your
most
favorites?
notable. Everyone that knows me will tell you that. As one of the most notable comic series in comic history, and I think a lot of people they think it's one of the best, right? But this is not the whole series. This is not a particular volume of it. The reason that I have chosen this one for Dylan,
And which one is this?
this is issue 74, the second to last issue.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And Dream has found himself in what's called the soft lands, right? A land that connects to a number of periods of time, and people get lost in there for eons. And it's like a part of the dreaming sort of here in this world. So it's a dreamlike state when people are in there too, right? And there's a whole story about a man. He is a Chinese man, I believe, from like the feudal time period in human history, although that's not usually used to describe Chinese history, I think. So anyway, he has been exiled by his king, right? And he is traveling to where he will be exiled in shame. And he goes and he gets lost in the Softlands. And there's a lot of cool stuff about him and his life. And they talk about he and his wife, they had a servant and a ring went missing. And they beat the servant mercilessly and thinking that she had stolen it. And then years later, found the ring in the floorboards.
Oof.
Delivered in a way that Neil Gaiman is excellent at, like delivering entire worlds and chapters of lives in just like a few sentences in this like very, very important manner, right? So anyway, this guy, he's traveling and he meets Dream. Dream is intrigued by him and he knows that he has been exiled because they talk about it. And Dream makes him an offer. Don't go there to exile. Stay in the Dreaming and be an advisor. You're a wise man. Be one of my advisors, right? And he considers this, and he's thinking about some of the good things and all the bad things that have happened, and he's being sent here. And he says, no, I cannot do it, right? Even though I've been sent out in shame, this man is my king, and I am loyal to this king, and it is the right thing to do for me to accept this exile and go serve in that post. I appreciate your offer, but I can't do it. And I don't personally agree with that decision. But Dream commends him for it, and he, I think, asks why. And he says to him, this may be waking life, this may be a dream, I don't know. But even if it was a dream, I have acted rightly, right? That always stuck with me, and that's the lesson that I wanted to send out to college, is that this man does what he thinks is right, even though he thinks it may not matter, right? He'll just wake up and go anyway, right?
Yeah.
But he makes the right choice. And this is to remind you in college and in the rest of your life that to always make the right choice. Whether anyone is looking or anyone knows about it, you do what you think is best in any circumstance.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the reason why Brian is telling you all of this, Dylan, is because he wants to tell you the exact story that takes place in this issue of Sandman, number 74, so that you can take the comic with you to college and hang it on your wall as a remembrance of the lesson that you have learned.
See, here's the thing. I thought about, do I want to, we're giving this to Dylan to read while he's at this fictional college, and do I want to spoil this? But I know he's not going to read it. Come on, college students, they're busy, they got partying, and they got not doing their homework to do, and so, he's not going to get to it, and I want to give him a little cheat sheet to really explain why.
He's going to do what
I would bring
most
this.
comic book fans do, is like, I'm going to get the Sandman.
Right, I have it.
Everyone knows, everyone tells me it's good. I'm going to get to it eventually. Ugh. Yeah.
There you go.
It's going in the sack.
It's going in the sack.
In the sack.
Dylan.
One more for your sack.
Hey, Len.
Yes.
I see you have another choice there for Dylan, for little baby boy.
I do.
What you got there?
What I have is a little piece of history, a little bit of comic book history. I wanted to give Dylan a taste of a good story, but also a good story that was created, written and drawn by one of the greats of comic books of history that he may not know of. A lot of people know in the superhero world, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Neil Adams.
Yeah, this is not a name that gets bandied about.
Not
In
but
casual
casual
We're
conversation.
going to bandy it tonight, though.
Oh, we're gonna bandy the crap out of
And
it.
that's because true comic fans and comic pros always bandy about the name of Will Eisner.
Oh, yes.
And one of his greatest of his many accomplishments was Dropsy Avenue, the neighborhood. This is actually not even like a super old. Dropsy Avenue, the neighborhood, portrays the historical metamorphosis of one single New York street and its people, from colonial New Amsterdam all the way to the multi-ethnic rainbow of today.
That's really interesting.
And it starts literally back in the beginning with the purchase of the land. And then it goes on, and you see this beautiful black and white art, ladies and gentlemen.
He's so good.
That goes on into, and I think this book maybe is from like the 80s that this came out. And One, I love it because of the art. The art is fantastic. Will Eisner is a fantastic artist.
There's an award named after
It is.
Yeah,
The Eisner
yeah.
Awards are named after Will
the
Eisner.
most prestigious award in comics. I
It
would
is.
say.
It
Yeah.
is. He's a fantastic actor, phenomenal writer. And two, I think that this is a fantastic teach you like the teach you, even though this is one of the older artists, he is one of the people who created the art form of comic book writing and then always played with it to his death and was always still breaking new grounds and layouts, the way the books are laid out and everything else. That
And when was this, would you say?
I think it came out like in the late 70s.
Okay. Because JD just showed me, speaking of him pushing the boundaries of the form and playing around with it, JD just showed me a page that I think would look innovative today.
Yeah.
No, yes, I'm telling you, yeah. He was before his time.
Yeah.
Before his time. But I also like it for Dylan because there is a lesson to be learned to read the history of this New York street and see how in 1995 it came out.
1995.
Yeah.
He had a long career.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah.
That is
1995
way more recent than I expected.
Me too.
The man. He continued working.
Yeah, man. Oof. Great.
And in 1995, just to let you know, he was probably in his 70s, easy. But like just this history of a New York, to think of the history of your block.
Yeah.
The block that you live
That's
on.
cool.
You know, why the street has certain names, why buildings have certain names, how did the neighborhood come to look like this when it used to look like that? And all of the reasons are explored right here in this one comic book. It's a fantastic comic book. It was a blind read for me years ago when I bought it because I knew the name Will Eisner.
Sure.
Will Eisner, more famously known for The Spirit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew that he did so many other things. I knew he had a great book about Vietnam because he did Vietnam. I knew his book about My Contract with God is one of the more seminal comic books. I bought that. I fell in love with that. And then
So this is actually the third volume of the Contract with God trilogy.
yeah,
which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic book, and I think that Dylan it'll be a lesson for him in comic books, in comic book history, and just in history itself.
You know, I think it's really important to internalize when you go out in the world the connection to history, right? And even if, I don't even know if this is a real street, let alone if it's the street that anyone lives on that would read it, but just knowing the span, the depth of history and the changes, the connections of the past to the present and everything in between, I think reading about something like this will help you think about that in your own life.
Yeah. Most definitely. Let's put it in the book.
Let's put it in the bag.
Put it in the sack.
Put it in the sack.
Sack
Into
it
the
up.
sack.
Hey Dylan, when you come back around Christmas time, can I borrow this? I want to read it.
Yeah, I want my comic back too. Sorry.
So I thought Department of Truth, which is a recent series, it's an ongoing series that's currently happening, and this is by James Tynion IV with artist Martin Simmons. Cole Turner has studied conspiracy theories all his life, but
No.
he isn't prepared
Oh.
for what happens when he discovers that all of them are true.
Oh.
From the JFK assassination to flat earth theory and reptilian shapeshifters, one organization has been covering them up for generations. What is the deep, dark secret behind the Department of Truth? Basically, we're introduced to this cat, Cole Turner, in the beginning, and he gets recruited by this clandestine government. Well, I don't even know if it's a government.
Quasi-governmental?
Yeah. What would you call it?
A
Shadow
secret.
cabinet?
Yeah.
Shadow cabinet.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a comic book.
Is it?
So their whole thing is to protect reality from conspiracy theories. So in this book, reality is actually reshaped when too many people believe in a conspiracy theory. So it's
Interesting.
so it's their goal to shut down nonsense before it gets too big. which is a very, very cool idea. And James Tynion is one of my favorite writers. He has done one of my favorite thriller horror series called Nice House on the Lake.
Yeah.
And he also does Something is Killing the Children. So
Wow, you're right.
yeah, man, he does a lot of
Does a
really
lot
good
of cool
stuff.
I do like this guy.
Yeah, wait a second. Dane Z said, I wish I had these great comic book recommendations when I went to college. Great picks, all. Thanks, Dane. So, yeah, I feel like when Dane gets to school, he's probably going to be...
When Dylan gets to school. Dane is
what did
already...
I say? Dane.
Dane's already...
Yeah, Dane, when you get to school... give us a call because your mother and I are worried sick. When Dylan gets to school, he's going to be smoking the reefer
Sure.
and reading this book, which I think will only help because the art is very...
Would the reefer go down?
Yeah, the art is very... I think it takes a little while to get used to.
It does. Yeah.
It's a little off-putting at first, I think.
This is not an introduction to comic books.
Right, yeah. This isn't... early readers stuff.
No.
But
He's a smart boy.
Yeah,
He can,
he'll pick it
you
up.
know, he's going off to college.
so
Yeah.
But also I am flabbergasted that some of these conspiracy theories still exist.
Really?
Yeah, when I heard that flat earthers were a thing again,
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke.
Oh,
I was like, oh, that's fun.
so the first time that I heard about them was some years before they had made like kind of a public splash. And I don't remember how I heard about them, but I went on the website and they had a frequently asked questions. And the first question was, is this a joke? And they answered. They had like a detailed, like, no, this is not a joke. We believe the evidence supports it. All that stuff. And yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
What I don't get is, what would anyone get out of this?
That's always been my
to
question.
me is like so there's like an ice wall in some of these theories and there's people patrolling it so that we don't know. Why don't they want us to know?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they be like,
Hey, the Earth's
hey, the
flat,
Earth's
y'all.
flat.
Yeah.
Check out this wall.
Yeah.
We could
It's pretty cool.
probably charge you to
Yeah,
come
right.
up here. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
well, yes, we will charge you money. We will sell
Right.
souvenirs, ice wall souvenirs.
Yeah, you could get
Yeah.
little bits of ice
Yeah.
frozen in an off-site freezer.
I've never understood what the whole
I don't get that one.
Well,
Some of the
see,
other
what
ones
all
make,
the world's governments would get from being
Right.
like it's round.
But my thing...
Idiots.
Right.
It's round, you dummies.
and going back thousands of years.
Yeah.
Or at least the evidence has been so planted.
yeah.
Yeah, but my thing is, okay, if you believe that the Earth is flat,
Yeah.
okay, so
And then
then
yeah.
go to work.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like who gives a fuck? Okay, next.
I will take a coffee with cream and sugar. Why are you still here talking to me? Go get my drink.
Well, people like to know, right? Because that's like our greatest advantage
Yeah.
evolutionarily is that we know stuff and we do stuff about it, right? So if you are in the know, then you've got one over on everyone else, right? You're
And
more
what's it doing
fit
for you?
human. Just the
making you feel
idea-
good.
The idea that like I figured it out.
right.
I saw the clues, which is another thing about these. Sometimes these guys will be like, "Oh yeah, you know, if you look at this broadcast this way and then do this with that, then it totally tells you." And it's like, these guys, what do you think, they're the Riddler?
Yeah.
Why would they, if they're trying to get away with it, why would there be fun little clues
Yeah.
for you to solve in a game like fashion, right?
yeah.
Like,
Those are the guys that were next to JD looking at the scrambled cables. Like,
Yeah.
here's the dick.
Yeah.
Ooh.
yeah, this is going to set me for life.
So I thought it would be good to prep baby Dylan with
Dylan's getting younger and younger.
with the knowledge that maybe not everyone that he's going to meet at school is going to agree with him or have the best ideas, and
true.
maybe just don't fall in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, because if enough of them believe it, it becomes true,
That's true.
apparently,
Yeah.
according to this comic.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Yeah.
Which one of these comic books that are going in the sack do we really think Dylan is going to read?
I didn't even know
I
it was
see.
Dylan. Here's the thing.
This was
I thought it was
Dylan.
like a
It's fictional.
hypothetical college student, this like
Yeah.
abstract idea of a college student.
Okay,
You know
fair
what I'm
enough.
saying?
Which
So in
one
that
do you
case,
think
mine-
are abstract?
Mine, obviously, and yours.
Mine, obviously.
JD's.
Yeah, mine are great
Yeah.
choices. He's not going to read any of these.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Oh, really? Which one's he going to read?
Which one do you think
True.
he's going to read?
He's absolutely going to read The Long Con.
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Okay.
Yes.
See, I'll tell you what. If he cracks open Will Eisner, I think he might keep going. You know what I mean? If he just
True.
peruses it,
True.
and like, oh, this looks
I
pretty
don't.
cool.
This he might get to at the very end,
Yeah.
like at the end of the stack.
You can hold it over his
'Cause
head for
honestly,
the rest of his life.
The art does not make you want to pick
The
it up
art's a
and
little
read.
impenetrable.
Off-putting.
Yeah.
Like I tried
I like
reading,
it,
and the
actually.
art just didn't
Yeah.
do it for me.
I grew to like the art, and I do think that I feel like art like this is akin to when you're watching a thriller or a scary movie, and the atmosphere, the vibes, and the soundtrack are doing a lot of the heavy lifting emotionally. Like that's what's usually connecting to you emotionally when you're watching a thriller or a horror movie. And I feel like when a comic book has those sorts of vibes artistically, it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's part like you wouldn't grab the guy from The Long Con to draw this book. So that's what I like about it. It wouldn't be my first choice, but once you're in it, you're like, this works for the themes of the story.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what I mean?
I'm not drawn to that kind of art on its own, as it were. But I think I agree. It is good for the story that's being told. It fits it very well. Yeah.
Actually, we're going to be talking about for book club because we had done this for book club as well. The next book club is going to be Witches, Wytches,
Okay, yeah, I've seen that
by
one.
Scott Snyder and Jock.
Oh, Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is the first time I kind of thought of that. The whole soundtrack thing when it comes to art is because Jock has a very dark and muddy style, very angular, very sketchy and inky. But with his colors, and forgive me, I don't know if he colored Witches or not, but the colorist starts splatting more and more paint on the pages as you go, and it's almost like the crescendo of a soundtrack that's like building up the tension.
Oh, that's cool.
Before the release, and I thought that was really, really cool. So that's a really good example of that sort of thing. The art being a little bit of a boundary for you to get past in the story. So yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, did you have one more?
Yeah, at least. So,
Let me put it in the sack.
Dylan, as I said, I'll send this up with you in your first little care package. It's going to be so nice. And
With home baked cookies.
yes, don't get them on the comic. And this is an Elseworlds comic called Green Lantern, I believe, 1001 Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a prestige comic from a while ago. And the whole story is very cool, but the reason that I'm sending it up is the lesson that one scene contains. And it's a story within a story about Al Jordan, I believe, searching for this his lamp with the power ring, right? But someone else is telling the story within it, and he goes and he meets the King of the Sea, who has the lamp. The King of the Sea says, "I'll give you the lamp, but you have to go to this island where you will face a series of trials and get this silver apple and bring it back to me," right? He says, "Okay, I'll do it," knowing that this was this powerful lamp. He goes and he gets the silver apple, he brings it back, and he gives it to the Sea King. And the Sea King says, "Ha ha, you fool. This is the silver apple of immortality, and you've given it up for this lamp." And Al Jordan says, "Well, this lamp has a powerful genie in it, you know." And
Ha-ha!
yeah. And instead of being upset, the Sea King says, "Then it is good, for too few are the deals in which both men are satisfied."
Oh,
Right? And it's like, oh, great. We both got what we wanted.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
go us.
This is amazing.
High five.
Right? And so I just think that's a really good thing to remember, right? For you to win, someone else doesn't have to lose.
Yeah.
And it's better when everybody gets something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
a good lesson.
them having given something up that you could have had both, but you got what you wanted. You know, it's good.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
What time is it? Is it time to go? Did we do it?
Not really. I mean, we could chat for a little while.
It's time to go.
It's time to.
All right.
Well, Dylan, we have this sack of
Of parting
knowledge.
gifts for you.
There you go.
There you go.
As soon as I learn how to read, I'm going to read all of these.
Well, that's what college is for.
We should have got him hooked on phonics. Damn it. Hey, kids, ask your grandparents what hooked on phonics was. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you
Ask your
guys,
grandparents what reading is.
if you guys and gals out there want to let us know what you would put in Dylan's fictional sack,
Make
let
it
us
good.
know. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Oh no!
What is it?
Noel emailed us at
my
cultpopgo@gmail.com. We almost forgot him.
What has he got to say?
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
This is his contribution.
Here we go.
Greetings, Cult Poppers. That's us.
That's us.
In my absence, I'd like to present my back-to-school selection, a book I would consider required reading and riddled with valuable lessons. First, an explanation. In my opinion, the most effective and poignant content is the kind that surprises you and or subverts expectations. I'm referring to the kind of story that lulls you into a sense of comfort or rhythm so successfully that an emotional connection is made without notice, no matter how seemingly slight the story appears to be.
Oh.
For me, this happens most effectively within high-concept genre stories. Good example, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. On the surface, action horror genre about a magic cheerleader prophesied to vanquish vampires
Either way is fine.
and demons. Ridiculous.
What?
In practice, a razor-sharp and emotional examination of the high school experience and how it irrevocably shapes who we become, good and very bad.
Oh.
The two concepts that are not inherently congruent, yet juxtaposed against one another, become timeless fiction.
Cool.
With that overall explanation, I want to submit Murder Falcon, art and story
Is
by
he not
Daniel.
submitting Buffy? That was just an example?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Murder Falcon, art and story by Daniel Warren Johnson, colors by Mike Spicer. On the surface, this is a story about a failed musician harnessing the power of heavy metal to empower an anthropomorphic cyborg falcon to fight interdimensional demons and save the world.
Cool.
But
In practice,
Oh.
it's an effective story about love, forgiveness of the self and others, survivor's guilt, found family, and above all, the undeniably medicinal and healing power of art. In this instance, music. If I were to draft an imaginary thesis that encapsulates everything good in this world, it would be something like Murder Falcon. Equal parts silly, satisfying, and filled with so much heart that you can't dismiss it. So when I was picking out mine, I thought of Murder Falcon.
Is that right?
I did not have a copy to bring.
Ah.
And then I thought, Do a Power Bomb, which is also by Daniel Warren Johnson.
yes, good
He's
book.
great.
Great book.
So
Yeah.
from the three of us, the four of us, if you guys are out there and you haven't read any Daniel Warren Johnson comic books, I highly recommend Murder Falcon. You guys agree?
yes,
Do a Power Bomb
fantastic.
Sure.
and Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
Oh, one of the best. Phenomenal.
So, it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. And just like with Murder Falcon, Power Bomb and to a lesser extent, I think Wonder Woman have an emotional resonance that is you don't quite see coming.
Yeah, yeah.
He was also one of the first places that I saw something that has become a trend in displaying action in a comic.
Yes, yes.
He is the master. You know what I mean?
I would say James
Or
Herron.
He's a master.
He is a master.
Okay, yeah.
Him and James Herron. I
Okay.
saw James Herron first, and then I saw Daniel Warren Johnson. And I consider Daniel Warren Johnson to be like an ape. Like he
Oh,
was
is that right?
aping
Okay.
James Herron.
Now, what is this
But-
trend?
It's basically when you have an action shot
Mm-hmm.
of like a fist flying through the air, but the lines that you're drawing to make up the fist are all
jagged.
Yeah.
jagged
Jaggedy.
and kind of horizontal. They're
And
they're
like
going
especially
in
the ones that are perpendicular
Yeah.
to the direction of force, right? And it really shows that force.
Yeah.
You know, that
instead of
power
like
in
a
there.
instead of like a thick line that outlines the
Yeah,
arm,
yeah.
it would all be very jagged.
Yeah, it really conveys motion
Yeah, it
in a
uses
great
feathering
way.
a lot.
Sort of
so good.
chaos, like
Yeah.
crackling with energy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in theme, like Kirby dots in a way. Just an excellent way of conveying a type of force or power.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they don't look similar at all, but in that way. Yeah, and he's now doing a Transformers thing.
That's the
and
next
he
one. Transformers.
Didn't he do something with Beta Ray Bill?
Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, he did. I
Yes,
didn't finish that one.
so good.
I got to read that.
I don't think I finished it either. And Jurassic League, was that him?
No, that
that's
was
not
Juan Gideon or
Oh,
Juan
okay.
Gideon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's all who Juan
Cool.
Gideon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Juan Gideon. He is in that same school of Daniel Warren Johnson and James Harren.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Same,
he's in there. Yeah.
same vibe.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Oh,
Good.
very good. If we haven't anything else, I thought of something that we all read a little while ago that to me has a really going away to college-y or being at college-y feel. Do you remember Hedra?
oh yeah,
Yes. Very trippy.
I do remember that.
Very like esoteric. No words, so you don't have to worry about that. Dylan.
No words, buddy.
There we
you don't
go.
have to read them.
Yeah. You know how to interpret pictures, right? You'll get the hang of it.
Maybe I'll get that like the first week, and then maybe words the second week. Of
Interpreting pictures. But the question is, how do you get to that class? You know? A bunch of
Not
people-
by any signs.
No, you're just wandering around. If you look lost, somebody tells you to go to this door. Right. Yeah, it's just it really, for me, speaks of like the kind of heady exploration that is so great. Often beginning at college and hopefully not finishing there.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like the kind of thing that if it was a poster, you might see it on a dorm room wall.
Yeah.
And I think you should check it out. It's beautifully done, very geometric, abstract art.
What's it called again?
Hedra.
Hedra.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hey, Len, where can the people find you on your award-winning podcast?
Are we? I don't know. Yes, you can follow us on the Micheaux Mission, MICHEAUX MISSION, on all your social media as well as on YouTube. We also broadcast every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here from Young Junk. It's 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made, and it's Boo-tober, so we'll be doing horror movies.
Oh,
That's a good
my
name for
jam.
it.
You're gonna do People Under the Stairs?
No, we've already done that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Nice.
we're starting off with the Transfiguration from
Oh, yes.
2016.
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
Very cool. Little known film as in my circles.
I don't know it.
You can also me and Noel when Noel is feeling better. Actually, last week he did it even though he was sick by himself. Every Wednesday, most Wednesday mornings, we do a show called Fresh Floppies, which you can find on our YouTube channel right here, and then also on iTunes. Fresh Floppies under the CultPop banner. It is that day's new comic books reviewed without spoilers. Yeah.
Excellent.
Where can people find you?
I can be found, at least on November 10th, at the Comedy on Demand improv show.
Yes.
At Forge Theater, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, 19460.
Yeah.
And it'll be 7:30 Friday, November 10th. We're going to be doing some comedy improv, and we'd like you to watch it. And we'd really appreciate it if you laughed.
Yeah, that's main. Even if
It
you're
would be
not
nice.
there, at least
just
laugh.
force the laughter if you have to. It's fine. Other people won't know that you're all doing that.
I'm
you know.
really good at forcing my laugh.
Do it.
Ha ha! Funny.
Don't come.
Oh. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will talk at you later. Ha ha!